Welcome to Coast, where we're attempting to ride from the central coast to Wollongong via the Blue Mountains over 5 days. This 5-part series follows our journey as we navigate gravel roads, fire trails, old stock routes, and whatever else the map decides to throw at us. It's just 2 bikes, some gear, and a rough plan. Welcome to day 2. In this episode, we question if we've bitten off more than we can chew as we encounter navigational errors, tackle the biggest climb of the trip, and descend into a remote canyon after dark with no idea what's waiting for us. Good morning. Welcome to day 2 of Coast to Coast, the long way. After yesterday, at least I am, a little bit scared of the challenge that lies ahead. But we're going to pack up tent and make our way to Wisemans Ferry, one step at a time. The morning began with a descent down 8 Mile Trail, a track that, by all accounts, looked like a reasonable connection to Wisemans Ferry. What we found was a rough, technical descent which our gravel bikes could just handle. A few kilometers in, we counted our first major navigational blunder of the trip. We encountered a gate that alluded that we were no longer on public land. It felt like we were entering a bit of a grey area as to whether we could ride through or not, but turning back would result in a multi-hour detour and completely derail the mission. Little did we know that this wouldn't be the last time we'd come across a similar problem this trip. We decided to keep going and were ready to turn back if we thought things were getting too hairy, and so we pushed on. The mood shifted as we rode. It felt uneasy being somewhere we shouldn't be. We rode quickly and quietly, and eventually we rejoined a public road, and the sense of relief was absolutely immediate. Yeah, I think we're on public road now. It's like, why is my bike making so much noise? Oh, this is beautiful though. Hello, Cowsy. Oh no. Sorry.
No, you got it.
We knew that it was not the right way to go, and it's definitely not a route I'd recommend to anyone else. This was the result of poor planning and a reminder that not everything on a map is fair game. Once we rejoined the public road, it was about 20 kilometers to Wismans Ferry. The gravel was smooth, the sun was out, and for the first time all day, we could actually settle into the ride. Crossing the ferry was a mini highlight. One of those little moments that breaks up the day. Once we rolled into town, we had a proper breakfast, topped up on supplies, and recharged our batteries. Pie, milkshake, coffee, another wrap, chalky milk. From there, we crossed the ferry again and rode towards Colo Heights. This section, Upper Colo Road, turned out to be one of the hidden gems of the whole trip. No cars, hard-packed gravel, surrounded by bushland. Hey, we're about 5 hours in, just done about a bit over 55 k's. Been on some beautiful gravel roads, as you've probably seen, and now just transitioned onto some asphalt. We're coming into Colo Heights. We expect that there'll be some water at one of the high schools or one of the fire stations, so we'll be looking to top up before making our move up towards Bilpin. So yeah, pretty exciting. Day is really lovely so far. The riding's been spectacular, about as nice as you could ask for when it comes to kind of gravel riding. Having a good time, legs feel great. I'm feeling pretty positive about today, given how hard yesterday was. Like, there was a little bit of, I guess, worry about the rest of the trip and whether it was actually doable or not. But it's amazing how road conditions can completely change your outlook on things, and when the road is actually rideable and you can maintain a reasonable pace, reasonable effort, the day just goes by so much quicker. So yeah, looking forward to Bilpin. It'll be a bit of a climb, but should be good. Any final thoughts, Tyler?
No, keen for a descent and have a break and then get prepped for the climb. That's probably what you covered already.
Yes.
Let's see how we go. Hopefully to cool off a bit, maybe at the river.
For sure. Yeah, bit warm, but not too bad. Manageable. Just before Colo Heights, we pulled into a small park to fill up on water. Okay, so we just stopped off at just short of Colo Heights. We found a kind of park recreational centre that has some rainwater. So as you can see, it's a bit brown, so we'll filter that up, stock up on water and make our way to the next spot. I'm going down this hill. I've lost Tyler, so slightly worried something might have happened. So I might go back up just to check in on him. Let's see if everything's alright. Oh, there he is. You alright?
Oh no, the rock.
What about it? No! No! Oh, fuck me. That's still edible. Yeah, that's... When you said that, I thought you were joking. I was literally just biting on it. I was like, no, I didn't drop it before. But I did just drop it then. I think it's still good. We rode down the hill towards the Colo River and stopped for a quick swim. It was warm, clear, and absolutely perfect. It was one of those moments you don't plan for, but end up remembering. After the swim, we regrouped and realized that we were running low on daylight hours. Climbing out of Colo River was a slow burn. It just kept going and going and going. The road wound up through bush, quiet and steady. Occasionally a car passed, but for the most part, we were completely alone. We had to walk quite a few sections, and the climb was broken into two parts. First, we aimed for Mountain Lagoon, a tiny residential pocket tucked in the trees. From there, the road flattened out a bit as we approached Bilpin. We both felt a sense of urgency. The sun was dropping fast, and we knew we had to get as far as possible before nightfall. Our goals kept shifting throughout the day. We knew that if we didn't make it to our planned campsite, we'd risk falling behind for the rest of the trip. That meant one thing: we'd be riding into the dark. Alright, 4:30 PM, about an hour of light left. We're just short of 90 Ks. Stopping for a little quick snack and water top up. We're just around the corner from Bilpin, and then from there we might need to reassess the game plan. I haven't talked to Tyler about this yet as to where we'll camp tonight. The plan was to go to Mount Wilson, which is still achievable but requires quite a bit of night riding, and that involves a massive amount of elevation loss and gain. Yeah, we will reassess once we get to Bilpin and hopefully be able to stock up on some water and snacks, drinks, etc. See you then. We reached Bilpin right on sunset. We thought perhaps we could go for dinner somewhere, but nothing was really open. And just as we were about to give up, we spotted a sign for a servo. Never been so happy to see the price of fuel. We grabbed some cold drinks, mentally reset, and braced ourselves for what was ahead. Alright, neither of our brains are functioning at the moment. We just topped up on some water, a soft drink, and some chips. We're gonna push to the campsite. It's gonna be dark, but we'll get there. Last bit of light, getting dark now. We've got 15 Ks to the campsite. The hardest bit is going to be the first 5 Ks. I reckon that will take a good hour and a half, just based on the amount of elevation that we lose and gain. And then the rest will just be a pretty straightforward road in the dark. And it's a back road, so we're not too concerned about traffic or anything, just light. Probably a bit of a GoPro effect, but it's pretty dark at the moment. We've got lights that should be good enough to see. I'm keeping them off until I can't see. Alright, see you in a bit. We only had 20 kilometers to get to our campsite, and whilst 20 kilometers doesn't sound like much, it included a huge descent into Bowens Creek Canyon, a road that had officially been closed for years, as the old timber bridge that crossed the creek had burned down some years ago, and the route had been left to nature ever since. We'd read reports though that it was still passable. What we didn't realize though was how overgrown and sketchy that descent would be, especially in the dark. It was dark by the time we started. Trees were down, there were washouts, there were holes in the road, there were sheer cliff drops with no guardrails. Okay, so this is something that's probably not going to get captured on camera, but to my right is literally like a freaking cliff drop, hundreds of meters down. So that's cool. It was one of those descents where you had to walk your bike just to go downhill. It was crazy. We hadn't accounted for any of this, and things were taking way longer than we expected, but there was no turning back. By the time we reached the bottom, we were scratched, bruised, and covered in leeches. Don't know if the GoPro picks up anything, but we finally got to the bottom. And the bridge looks so cooked, which we knew, but it looks more cooked than we realized. The bridge was gone, and we bush bashed our way through down to the creek, and we crossed it, guided by the light from our head torches. Just like brute forcing our way through. Oh, I see the bottom. Oh, nice. Made it to the creek bed. Now to figure out where to cross. Oh, that's slippery. Oh, this looks pretty shallow, hey? Knee depth. No, I can see the bottom.
Oh, you can see the bottom.
Okay, about to cross this creek. It's so nice and cool. Yeah.
Sorry, I was too busy filming.
Oh, do you want to go for a swim? All right, making our way up to the other side. We've been going at it for a while. Some parts are rideable, some parts are not. Feels like it's in better condition than the other side. The main difference is that it's all uphill, so lots of hiker bikes, whatnot. Nearly at the top, I think. I don't know. Now we just had to climb. The track on the other side was in better shape than the one we'd just gone down, but it was slow going. It took us well over 2 hours to cover the last 15 kilometers. Whoa! Oh, that was a wallaby! Wombat, sorry. Yeah. Sick. Dude, I turned my GoPro on just thinking that might happen, but I doubt it caught it. There we go. We made it to a gate. Oh, some kind of road. Guessing we go straight. And we just passed 110 kilometers. Oh, and there's asphalt. So much to celebrate. Dude, well done. Eventually, we reached our campsite at Cathedral Reserve. More than 14 hours in the saddle, and we were absolutely cooked. We pitched our tents, cooked dinner, and passed out. This was easily one of the toughest and most unforgettable days on the bike I've ever had. If you're enjoying the series, subscribe, drop a comment, and join us for day 3 where we truly enter the Blue Mountains. We descend into the Megalong Valley, pick our way through rocky single track, and spend more time walking than riding, putting our mission at risk.